What's up, bakers? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make puff pastry. Puff pastry is a great skill to have in your baker's toolbox. It's easy, versatile, it freezes super well, and it's fun to make. But wait, I'm not gonna show you alone. I've got a guest baker visiting all the way from British Columbia, Canada, Mark Hart, the head baker and recipe developer for Anita's Organic Mill. Let's not waste any time, let's get to it. All right, let's get started with our puff pastry, but first I want to introduce Mark Hart, all the way from
Anita's Organic Milk Flour, made in BC.
What am I giving?
Just say let's get started.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say let's get started.
Okay. Just because you got the mic.
Let's get started. First thing we need to do is mix the dough. We're gonna use room temperature water, soft butter, salt, malt, and today we're using Anita's Organic all-purpose flour. We're gonna add our ingredients to the mixer. Throw in the water first. Keep the flour from sticking to the bottom as much as possible. We got butter, add the salt, add the malt, and last I'm gonna throw in the flour. So whenever I'm using a planetary mixer like this, I like to just take the hook and get in there by hand and give it a mix until it all comes together. Otherwise you spend the first minute or two it's just mindlessly spinning around. Mix it in first speed for about 4 to 5 minutes till the dough comes together. Then we're gonna crank it up to second speed and give it another 4 to 5 minutes. I like to mix it fairly intensely. While the dough's mixing, I'm just gonna give you a few ideas of what you can do with this puff pastry. You can just bake it straight, split it open and fill it, turn it into a Danish type pastry, make tarts out of it, line a muffin tin, fill it with some heirloom tomatoes for a nice tomato tart. At Anita's, my favorite thing to do with the puff pastry is just a simple apple turnover. Done the 2 minutes at second speed and the dough's looking really nice right now. I'm just gonna pull it out and show you. One thing I'm looking for is the nice smooth dough. When you're feeling it, it's really nice and it'll feel like it's really extensible. I mix it a little harder than most people, but that means we have to have a really good long rest in the fridge for at least 12 hours. Before I throw it in the fridge, I stretch it out into a little bit of a square. It's pretty easy to actually roll out when it first comes off of the mixer. And I try to get it in a nice rectangle as I go so that it's fairly squared up. And then when I start the sheeting process, it's a little bit easier to get a nice uniform shape, which is really important. The butter consistency is really key here. I like to use really cold butter, and in order to get the cold butter nice and malleable, I beat it up first with the rolling pin. It's just a matter of smashing it out flat. So you see I've just pieced the pieces together. If you're using half pounds or pounds, you slice the pound into pieces. At first you get these crumbles, and this is what we really don't want. And I'm just gonna square it up a little bit too, so when we're going through. So you can see it's still a little bit crackly, but this way, once you've pounded it a little bit and you're gonna run it through the sheeter or roll it by hand, it's not gonna crack up. The individual pieces won't come apart from each other.
Just gonna make the butter a little bit softer.
And to the shape I want. So I gotta get it to the right shape that I want. I want it to be bigger than this. And it also gets it more uniform, because right now it's not perfectly even. You need it to be perfectly even. You can get it by hand like that too, but obviously it's a lot easier on the sheeter to get the exact measurements that you're looking for. It starts getting more and more even. And then there's one step at the end with just straightening it up with the bench scraper. Out through the sheeter and you've got it uniform, so it's even depth all the way around. I'm gonna shape the rest by hand with the scraper, and this is really important to get it all to be one cohesive mass of butter. I'm holding the scraper here 45 degrees and scraping over the top, and you can see it's getting a lot smoother, and you can see a few spots where it's a little crinkly where I'm gonna just get it really smooth, and then at the same time I'm gonna be cutting little pieces off and trying to get it as square as possible. With everything in puff pastry, you're really looking for everything to be super square. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did here on the opposite side of the butter once I invert it onto the dough. I rolled this out to a width of 11 by 9, and it can be any measurement you want, but you need the dough to be twice as wide and the same height as that. I'm just trying to, you can play with it a little bit, but 11 by 9 is a good size. I'm just gonna tuck this in the fridge now until I'm ready to sheet out the dough because it's warm in here. Get a little bit of flour on the dough now. You don't want it sticking to the table. It's okay to get a bit in right now. It'll dry up. You don't want too much when you're gonna do the lamination, otherwise the dough won't stick back together. My dough was 9 by 11, so now I want it to be 11 by 18 because that's double what I've got. Smooth it out a little bit before sending it through the sheeter. Keeping everything really square is the key. Everything has to stay square. Just keeping it really square. And now I need 18 on this side. I'm gonna run it through one like that. I just run it through at the same thickness because you've changed the thickness of the dough. It's shrunk back a little bit. You can see how smooth this dough is. You want it to be nice and square here. And you want this to be the exact dimensions of your butter. I'm gonna grab the butter out of the fridge, put it upside down onto this dough right in the middle. If your butter is not cold enough, you can use some of these packs here to cool it down a little quicker. Tuck it on there. And well, I'm just gonna wait another minute. I'm gonna take my butter, center it on the dough here. It just sticks to the silpat, which is also very nice about using a silpat. And just line it right up in the center here. Then I like to give it a good rub down, get it stuck to the dough. And that way it peels more cleanly off the silpat. And then I just kind of peel it back like this, and I've got a nice piece of butter there. And now you can see we've got that kind of curdly sides to it, so I'm gonna do the same thing I did before and really smooth it out, just to avoid any chance of having cracking in the butter here. So I'm gonna get it nice and smooth, and then by working it with the spatula here, you're kind of flexing the butter back and forth, and it just keeps it really flexible. I've got it nice and smoothed out. You can see that I've not got any little spots where it might crack or come apart. I'm gonna fold these over to the center. Hopefully I got the measurements pretty good. Gonna have to reach it a little bit out. If you're trying to stretch it a little bit, make sure you're kind of doing it evenly over so you're not getting a thin spot. And then I'm just gonna get these just sealed together, not overlapping too much, so you get a thick part of the dough there. And that you've just got it all even. I'm just gonna give it a quick little roll, make sure there's no bubbles of air in there anymore. The bubbles of air can cause the butter to kind of deform a little bit as you're rolling it through. I'm gonna chuck a little bit of flour on here. Helps it go smoothly through the, yeah, you can see you should be able to bend it like this, and the butter is not gonna crack, it's just gonna flex with the dough. When I'm rolling this out, you're gonna roll to the open sides always. If you find that this part here is now a little bit shorter than this part, so what I'm gonna do to keep it square, make the wider part thinner. Next time you run it through, just this part will stretch. Hopefully when I run it through the second time, since this is thicker, this part will grow faster than the other side. You can see now they're a lot more even. Same thing, you're just gonna keep it going, and I'm gonna roll it down. I don't know exactly on this sheeter exactly how thin I'll go. I'm looking basically to get the right dimensions when I'm gonna do the fold. When you're laminating, you need to get your hands on a drier butter, which is at least 83 or 84% milk fat. So what you're gonna look for in the store is on the label, it should say, if it doesn't say, it's not 84%.
Most people don't have a sheeter at home. What do you suggest for anyone that doesn't have a machine? How do they roll this out by hand?
The hard part without the sheeter is you have to do it pretty quickly. If the butter starts getting warm, it starts actually being part of the dough, and you're not gonna have as defined layers. Part of the thing is letting your dough relax for at least 12 hours or even longer, that it's really relaxed. Get yourself at least a rolling pin that's as wide as the dough, because you don't want to be going halfway and halfway. Try to get one that is gonna fit this. At the bakery, we have a great big, we do the dough a lot bigger, and I have a very large rolling pin for that. I'm gonna roll it halfway out. I'm gonna come back to the center, and I don't hold the rolling pin, I just am putting my hands on the rolling pin to keep a really even pressure. You don't want one side being thinner than the other. So I'm just gonna finish the length on this one. Now, you don't need a specific measurement for this, but we'll measure ours just to see where we're at. I'm gonna do 5 single folds for this one. So 5 single folds will give you a traditional kind of puff pastry where you get a lot of puff, but you're not gonna get necessarily all those fine individual layers. The less folds you get, the more little layers you're gonna see in the dough. There's a lot of different terminology for the different folds. So you might have heard of a letter fold or a book fold. Single fold would also be known as a letter fold. So I'm basically folding the dough into 3. At the bakery, we just call it a 3-fold.
Okay.
So layering it up into 3. Pretty simple. You bring it over 1/3 away across the dough. The other thing is, if your dough is pretty wonky and you don't have straight edges, I'm always looking that I've got a continuous line of butter here. You need to make sure it lines up perfectly because these are going to be your layers here in the corners. So you want it really square and right into the pocket here, so that this comes right up to there. I'm going to roll it a little bit by hand. I want to get all the air pockets out there. If you get any air trapped in between there, when you roll it through again, that air pocket will travel through the dough and you can often get a crack in the butter. You're just trying to get all the air out and get the layers kind of pressed together. I also try to keep it square. I usually just kind of give it some of this with the rolling pin, and you're also going to notice that these ends are also usually a little bit narrower. So if you make it a little bit thicker on those ends, give it a little bit of a roll, and you're gonna have it really square. So I'm gonna tuck those ends in, give it a roll, and then we end up with a very square dough. Now you can do these back to back. It's easier with a sheeter. If you're at home and you're finding the dough is really tough, then you're gonna have to rest it in between each one for 20 minutes. I don't wanna go too much longer than 20 minutes because the butter's gonna get too hard.
All right, this is gonna get one more fold and then it's gonna rest?
Yeah, so then we'll have 2 single folds done. I'll let it rest 20 minutes. I'll do 2 more, and then this is gonna give us like a lot of layers into the dough.
Awesome.
Okay. I'm rolling it to the open ends. You're never gonna get the bulk of your length. Sometimes you wanna widen it out a little bit for your shaping, but the bulk of the length has to go to these open ends where the flaps are, not to the sealed up ends. I'm going to do another fold, but you can see now that since I've done that, I've got layers of dough at the end. So I'm going to trim it again till I see my 3 layers of butter there. I'm going to wrap it up now. Actually, I'm going to get Matt to come and wrap it up for me. So we want to let it rest for about 20 minutes just so that it can be easy to stretch out again and get more extensible. After rolling out so much length on the dough, it's tightened right up. And if you go too many back-to-back folds, you'll get the dough, individual layers start tearing apart. It's rested now for about 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm just making it thin enough now to run through the sheeter, or if you're just doing it by hand, then you're just gonna continue rolling it by hand. I'm gonna be rolling this to the open sides, not to the closed sides, so you're always getting your length from the open side. As these layers start getting thinner, you gotta be more and more careful, especially about the heat of your hands. The layers are really thin and you melt the butter, and so I'm always just keeping a really light touch, moving my hands around in different spots. Even as it's coming through, I'm kind of moving my hand so it doesn't get too melty on the one side, especially once you get down to the final sheet out. I'm ready to do my next fold. You can see the edges aren't perfectly smooth here, and like we did at the beginning, I'm gonna trim it down until I have an even layer of all the butter. So if I trim this back, if I were to trim it here, still having pieces here that aren't gonna be layered. So I'm gonna trim it right back to where I've got a full line of butter. We did 2 folds, put it in the fridge for a rest, 20 to 30 minutes. Now I'm on my second fold again outside of the fridge. So I've done number 3 and I'm about to run through number 4. And you can do 1 and 2 back to back and 3 and 4 back to back. And once we've got that, then we're gonna throw it back in the fridge again to rest for the final rollout. The number of folds, you can get totally different layers. So if you do less folds, you're gonna see more of the individual flaky layers of pastry. The more folds you do, the more volume you're gonna get in there. So if you want like a really big puff, but you don't care about seeing every single layer, then 5 single folds is good. If you want to see lots of layers, then you could do 3 single folds or 2 single folds and a double fold. You can play around. If you do very small number of folds, you won't get the same puff effect though.
Okay.
And I just like to make sure, sometimes when you roll it out, one layer will separate out from the other. So I just like to make sure I give it a good roll, that they're all gonna be even coming through, so I don't have to trim too much. At this point, the dough is really fragile. There's so many layers of dough and butter that the layers are really thin. So if you're not careful with this, you hold your hands in the wrong place too long, You're gonna get the layers tearing and then you get butter coming out and it's not ideal.
Our dough's been resting in the fridge overnight, and to recap, yesterday we did 4 single folds. This puff pastry will hold for a day in the fridge. If you're gonna go longer than that, I suggest freezing it, but you can make a large batch and just pull out what you need for the day. It freezes super well, it thaws really quick, and you can get to using it really fast. I'm gonna go grab Mark so we can get started.
Here's our puff pastry. It's had 4 single folds and now we're gonna roll it out to 4 millimeters thickness. There it is. Okay. Look at that dough, doesn't that look nice?
Wow, that's long.
We've rolled the laminated dough out to 3 millimeters. You wanna go between 2 and 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters, obviously gonna be a taller one. You'll see a little bit more definition. If you go down to 2 millimeters, it'll work for a lot of pastries like tarts and that sort of thing where you don't want a huge puff, and the layers will be a little less defined. The last step before making our shapes is to trim the dough. So the very edges of the dough are not gonna have perfect lamination because that's where the dough has been folded over, and the ends. So I'm just gonna trim all the way back here. You can see these aren't gonna be perfect layers there, and you can find lots of ways to use up. You can re-roll these trimmings. They won't have perfect layers, but you can reuse them. It's really important when you're working with this dough to keep it really cold, especially when you've rolled it out thin. It's gonna warm up really fast. If you're at this point before you cut out the shapes and it's feeling like your dough's getting warm, just toss it back in the fridge, or you can put it in the freezer for 5 minutes to cool down. Okay, Juniper's got her shapes already done, but I'm gonna show you how to do yours. For the test, we're just gonna cut out a couple squares and bake them. And then we've got a whole pile of fresh cherries we just picked. Are they good, Juniper? I'm just gonna chop 2 squares for this. I'll do rectangles. I'll do big chunks. We're gonna make a really simple egg wash. We've got an egg in the jar and Juniper's shaking it up for us. We've got some simple shapes here. These are just gonna be test squares. I'm gonna make some cherry pastries out of these. We've got some macerated cherries from the backyard. Brush it around, yeah. These ones, I'm just gonna fold over. Nice. This is just cherries and sugar and vanilla. Can you take this part and fold it? Watch, I'm gonna do this one. So I'm just gonna fold it over here, and then I'm gonna push it down a little bit, like this. Okay, yep, and then we gotta get the cherries out of the way. Now push it down, nice, yeah. Push the other side down. Watch this. Push it down, all the way around.
It makes fun.
Hey, you wanna try?
Yeah.
And the other side. The other side. Cut here, cut here. I'm gonna do a couple here. I'm gonna take the back of this knife. I'm gonna do this.
Looks like a flower.
It's gonna look even more like a flower in a minute. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, watch out. Let's have a little waiting dance. Puff pastry's out of the oven. Smells great, looks great. Do you think we should taste one?
Yeah.
All right, which one do you want? All right, let's cut this bad boy open.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you have a good day. Subscribe to our channel to see more videos of Daddy baking books.
That was awesome. I love making puff pastry and I love learning from other bakers. If you like learning from other bakers as much as I do, let me know in the comments and I'll try to have more guest bakers in the baking studio. For now, I'm gonna go enjoy some puff pastry with Juniper and Mark. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.